Welcome back to the channel, everybody, and as you've seen from the video title, we're going to be talking about the differences between monofilament, fluorocarbon, and braid, so stay tuned.
That is a fish. He's probably...
Alright guys, so before we jump into the video, if you are not subscribed to the channel and this is your first time at the channel, I'm the Wisconsin Wildman, and we usually upload 1 to 2 videos a week, so make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit the little bell notification so you don't miss when I upload. Reason being you want to be subscribed to the channel is at 5,000 subscribers, we are going to be doing a rod and reel giveaway, so if you want to be entered in that, gotta subscribe to the channel. Alright guys, so let's jump into this. So we're going to be talking about the differences in between monofilament, fluorocarbon, and braid. I've gotten a lot of questions about it, and it's been covered on YouTube quite a bit, so that's why I haven't made a video. It's kind of taken me this long, but I figured I keep getting questions on what I use it for personally. So I figured, you know what, let's just make one for the channel. Well, the first one we're going to be talking about is monofilament. That's probably your most common line, guys. I don't have any with me because I honestly don't use it really much at all. Monofilament is a stretchier line. If you were to grab monofilament and pull, you would feel a lot of stretch with it. It's good for topwater lures because it kind of stays out of the way from getting snagged up with things as well. But that's pretty much the only application that I would use monofilament for, is some topwater lures. Other than that, I don't ever use it. But that's your most basic line. It's going to be your cheapest as well, so if you're on a budget, monofilament might be the way to go for you guys. But there is going to be that stretch factor to it, so when you set the hook, you're not going to, have instant hook set right away. There's going to be that stretch. So like, let's say you cast your lure way out far and you were to set the hook, you're going to need to set it really hard, especially the further it is away from you. So the next one we're going to be talking about, guys, is braid. Now I use Power Pro braid. This is 65-pound braid, but I also have 30-pound and less. Braid is really your workhorse, guys. This is the line you're going to be using for punching mats, for fishing a frog. Reason being is braid is super strong. There is no stretch at all with braid. It's not going to stretch on you. I mean, it is instant when you set the hook. Another thing that it's great for is when you're fishing in that vegetation and your line gets up underneath lily pads and whatnot, and you set the hook on a fish, it will cut right through those lily pads or any vegetation. It'll just dice right through them. That's really nice about braid. I particularly use it for punching mats, fishing a frog, fishing a jig, anywhere that I'm gonna have, or in stained water. If I'm fishing stained water, I'm pretty much just gonna use braid anyway. There's no really need to go to anything else, and braid's pretty affordable nowadays, but I really like the Power Pro braid. So lastly, we're gonna be talking about fluorocarbon. Now this is just some tri-line fluorocarbon, 12-pound. This is gonna be pricier. Fluorocarbon is a little pricier because of the stuff that it's made out of. What's great about fluorocarbon is it is invisible, okay? So if you are like northern Wisconsin, or you're in Michigan or northern Minnesota where you're fishing a lot of clear lakes, you're gonna wanna use fluorocarbon, guys. If I'm fishing a clear lake, I pretty much use fluorocarbon at all times. Maybe a lot of guys, what they like to do to save money, because fluorocarbon can be pricey, is they like to back their reels with braid and then maybe put on like 2 to 3 foot fluorocarbon leader. That works out pretty well, especially if you don't fish clear water a lot and you don't want to like have to spool up a whole thing of fluorocarbon because it is pricey. Then I would go ahead and maybe make some leaders out of some fluorocarbon and just use it that way. That'll work great for you guys as well. But I pretty much use fluorocarbon on a swim jig. A lot of times I use it on a swim jig, crankbaits. I also use it on chatterbaits, things like that. Things where I'm not going to be fishing like super thick vegetation, but still want some good line. Fluorocarbon also is very strong. I've seen guys punch with fluorocarbon before, some really heavy fluorocarbon. It is very strong line. You just got to make sure you check for any abrasions on it, or check your knot a lot with fluorocarbon. But I have seen guys punch with fluorocarbon. It is very strong. It doesn't have the stretch that you're gonna have out of monofilament. Not as quite as like, no stretch at all with braid, but fluorocarbon is pretty like no stretch at all on it. Now that we've kind of cut through what the different lines are and kind of what they're used for, personally guys, all I use is Braid and Fluorocarbon. Like I said before, I use Fluorocarbon on, you know, swim jigs, crankbaits, and stuff like that. But most of the time when I'm flipping a jig, punching mats, or anything like that, I'm using Braid. And then if I get into a clear water situation where it's like, maybe I should use, you know, maybe we need some Fluorocarbon, I'll make a leader for it. I pretty much never use monofilament at this point. I think there's just so many better lines out there that you can use. You know, there's a lot of different line that's coming out, like different variations and stuff. These are just your basics. This is just straight Braid, Fluorocarbon, and monofilament that I'm talking about. I'm not talking about any other lines that they have out there. I could name some, but then we'd have to get into them, but we're not going to do that. But I pretty much stick to just Braid and Fluorocarbon. I'm not really picky on the brands except for Braid. I really like Power Pro Braid. Fluorocarbon, whatever's the cheapest I can get it. I have like 3 or 4 different types of Fluorocarbon, but this is just some tri-line here, and then I've got some what is it, Red Label I think it's called, and then P-line. But whatever's cheapest at the time is what I'm going to buy for Fluorocarbon. But honestly, like I said, don't really use monofilament for much at all, just Braid and Fluorocarbon. Alright guys, so that's pretty much going to wrap up the video. What I would like you guys to do is comment down below what your favorite line is to use, whether it's Braid, Fluorocarbon, and I'd like you to put the brand of it as well. If you use Power Pro Braid, if you use Spider Wire Braid as well. I do have some Spider Wire that I use. What is your favorite Braid line, Fluorocarbon, whatever it is? What's your favorite kind of line to use, and what brand do you like to use? That's what I'd like to see in the comments below. It doesn't have to be just Fluorocarbon, Braid, or monofilament. It can be you know, some of those other lines that they're coming out with and whatnot as well. I'd love to see it from you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I understand it was a faster video, but there's really not a lot to talk about with lines. It's pretty basic, guys. It's just, you know, we could get into the poundage of what you know, what kind of, you know, if you're going to use a swim jig, what poundage you should use. But I just wanted to kind of cover the basics of what the difference is between the line and what you know, conditions best suit that specific line. If you guys would like to see a video of what lure I use, like what line and pound I'd use for what lure, throw that in the comments as well, and I will make a video of that. But until next time, like I always say, remember to like and subscribe for that giveaway at 5,000, and keep fishing hard.